Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's been a while. It's been a week at least, but welcome to another very special edition of Raw Rewind. Today we're going to talk about Raw. And I didn't put the Money in the Bank card together until literally just a minute ago. Here it is. That will be coming to you either Tuesday or Wednesday. Heck, I might even do it right after this episode. So, don't forget to tune in for Money in the Bank. I do one every pay-per-view. I almost forgot to do Money in the Banks, but don't forget to tune into that. For the Money in the Bank pay-per-view match, for the ladder matches specifically, I will talk about who I think is going to win and why I think they're going to win. But probably this and the Royal Rumble are probably the two hardest ones to pick. Probably the two hardest ones to choreograph due to the fact there's so many competitors, like the Royal Rumble match itself. There's 30 guys. When Del Rio won it, there was 40 guys. That's not something easy to choreograph, saying, okay, now you throw this guy out, now this guy throws you out as you're throwing this guy out. The Money in the Bank ladder match, it's got to be, are you sure you can take this bump? Because we want you to take this bump for us. And because we really want this guy we need this guy to win. He has to win this match. So, it's one of those ones that, it's unpredictable. But I got my madness on why I think who is going to win. And we'll talk about that when we talk about Money in the Bank. Let's do this. For Raw, it started out with Vickie, Brad Maddox, and Vickie Guerrero. They're in the middle of the ring with a ladder behind them, no less, and the red briefcase, since it's the WWE title, and since it's Raw, the red briefcase is hanging up above the ring. On SmackDown, it's a blue briefcase for the World Heavyweight Championship, which then won't get my World Heavyweight Championship. Vickie mentioned that HBK, Razor Ramon, and Triple H. There she was sucking up. She could have said Edge. Edge would have been a better choice, to be honest with you, because Triple H, how many ladder matches has he been in? One that I can pick right off the top of my head, which was against Kevin Nash at TLC, with a sledgehammer hanging above the ring. So, she says they have been synonymous to ladder matches. Vickie then starts climbing the ladder. Okay, she starts climbing this ladder, and the crowd starts chants that they want her to fall off the ladder. Now, it sounds mean, and JBL's like, "Don't fall off. Don't fall off, Vickie. Be careful, Vickie. Vickie, be careful." She's like the heel announcer. So, and JBL does a great job. I wish they would bring in Taz, but apparently Taz signed a new contract with TNA, so his contract's been renewed. And King says that the job evaluation will even be affected by the WWE Universe. And the whole vote was either a pass or a fail. Now, I'm sure you guys know what I picked. I'm undefeated right now on this whole picking of the WWE Universe app. She makes matches tonight. She makes Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. She makes Christian versus Randy Orton, or Christian versus Kane, and she makes Randy Orton versus CM Punk for the main event. Those were your matches, okay? But her first match was Bryan versus Sheamus, and this match was okay. It was a WrestleMania 28 rematch. It did not happen in 18 seconds. It would be kind of funny, considering who the winner was. It would be kind of funny if it did happen. That way it would be reversed, but that's right. Bryan wins. This match basically went back and forth. How this match ended was, near the end though, was Sheamus was going to go for the bro kick, and Daniel Bryan takes the ropes and pulls it down, and you guys kind of tumbling over the ropes. And Brian then does a suicide dive out of the ring and hits Sheamus with the suicide dive. Brian tries to go for the yes lock, and it gets reversed into a Texas Cloverleaf, which then it gets reversed into a small package, and that right there is how Brian won this match. My question is, they after this match, they immediately went to the three announcers: Cole, Michael, and Lawler. What happened to the top of the Raw announce table? It's still the same as it was last week. What happened to the Raw announce table? Okay, that's my question. It's not Money in the Bank. It's that. That has been that's on my mind right now. It's like right there. Fix it. It's not that Raw anymore. That's one of your old Raws that you had back Lord knows when. Just put a black one with WWE on. Don't put your old Raw on there. Give me a break. What are you trying to do? Was it stolen? And if it takes you this long to get your luggage, you do not need to use that or whatever it is. If it's whether it was a transit bus or an airplane or wherever it was that got lost in travel, that guy needs to be fired, and you don't need to use that company again unless you drive yourself. If you fly, don't use that airline again. And give a Mr. McMahon, you're fired. Okay? Fix it. It bothers people. Like me, I see mistakes in movies. I'm one of those guys who will see the mistakes as they're happening. Trust me, in some movies these days there's a lot. But that's something completely different. Though I'm a wrestling guy, so let's talk about wrestling. Next thing that happens is AJ's freaking out about Caitlyn. She chased her out of the ring or out of the arena on SmackDown, and Ziggler pops up and says that he's too damn good even with or without AJ, and that's the truth. He is good. What they're doing is they're actually going to separate this group right here. They're going to separate AJ and Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. Their goal is to have Dolph Ziggler be a face, and to have Big E Langston become a face and go against Mark Henry at SummerSlam. That's what it's looking like. And maybe at SummerSlam, maybe there will be a rematch of sorts. The Shield versus the Brothers of Destruction. Now, the Shield will likely still have the World Tag Team titles. But the question is, if that's the case, will they put the World Tag Team titles on the line? I doubt it, because when will Undertaker defend it if they win it? And I don't think you're going to have Undertaker lose at SummerSlam. It's your biggest pay-per-view before Royal Rumble, before WrestleMania. It's one of your biggest ones of the year. It's, as they say, one of the big five. The big five are WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and it was Backlash, but it's not Extreme Rules, I can tell you that. I don't know what the fifth one is, but the big four so far. Until I can figure out the fifth one. It could be Money in the Bank for right now, for all we know. But Dolph Ziggler tells AJ that she needs to retain her title, and he'll win the world title, and then they can be the power couple of the WWE. You then had the Shield, and when I say the Shield, I mean the Tag Team Champion Shield, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, go against Tons of Funk. Now, this match, it was okay. It wasn't the best match I've ever seen in my entire life, but nothing really happened. Nothing really good happened during this match except for the end. The end, Rollins was the legal man, so was Sweet Tea, and at one point, Sweet Tea takes Rollins and throws him out of the ring, and Rollins actually reversed it and actually did like a springboard move to Brodus Clay, who was outside. As he was doing that, as he bounced off the ropes, Roman Reigns tags himself in, comes in and does this massive spear to Sweet Tea and gets the 1-2-3. That's how the match ended. This match was nah. It was a, as some people say, it was a poopy match. But yeah. They were introducing the fact that John Cena was going to call out Mark Henry, and that's what happened next. Cena calls out Mark Henry, and he says this is the first time he's actually been called out by Twitter. And Mark Henry says that Cena is afraid of him, and Cena doesn't know the new world's strongest man. Henry would sell. One thing that he actually said was, this is Mark Henry out, is that he would sell his own mother to be WWE champion. That's how desperate people get to be world champion or WWE champion or anything like that. But the fact that he would sell his own mother to be WWE champion, that's something else. You could say that's a new low, but Mark Henry's doing a good job. But then again, you gotta think they gotta get rid of all their old guys like Mark Henry, Kane, Undertaker. They gotta slowly start getting rid of John Cena. You gotta get rid of all these guys who have been for the company for like maybe 10 plus years, and have their guys replace them. And usually when they find their replacement, they will basically get rid of the guy. Whether it's the Big Show, who's 40-ish, Undertaker, Kane, John Cena, because he's on his 10th year, maybe 11th. But yeah, that's how things go in the WWE. That's how life is. Let's see here. At one point, Cena kept actually interrupting Mark Henry on a couple of things that they're saying, and Henry says, "If you interrupt me one more time, Money in the Bank's going to start early." So Cena's like, "Okay, I would love Money in the Bank to start early," and he takes his shirt off and throws at the crowd. And at one point, Mark Henry or John Cena says, "This is the line. You cross it, you're going to get your butt kicked." So Mark Henry says, "Okay, fine." He takes his shirt off, throws it out, kind of just tosses it out of the ring. And Cena actually tries to do the attitude adjustment after Mark Henry did run across that line, the imaginary line, and it wasn't easy. He basically picks him up and falls on him. But Mark Henry gets up, he's like, "This is easy." He picks up Cena and does a world's strongest slam. And the crowd actually chants, "One more time. One more time." He holds up the WWE champion as like he's going to win at Money in the Bank, which we all know he's not winning it at the Money in the Bank. It's going to be John Cena versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. This is part of my madness that I have for you guys for Money in the Bank. So tune into that either Tuesday or Wednesday, or maybe even after this show. I may very well do it after this show, because unless they say what happened coming up, unless they say like something's changed. I mean, the guy who might be changed, I didn't even have winning anyway. Orton is then interviewed about his match against CM Punk, and Orton says he will beat him just like he did at WrestleMania 27 in the greatest city in the world, the greatest state in the world of Georgia, in the Atlanta Dome, or I can't get it right. I guess it's Phillips Arena or something like that. He says when he wins Money in the Bank, he won't hesitate to cash in on John Cena if John Cena is the champion at that time. Orton is one of those guys right now that, at the rate it's going, I could probably see him winning Money in the Bank, but he's not my first pick. You then had Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel, who did come out with Paul Heyman, and Miz was on commentary. And apparently during CM Punk's match on SmackDown with Alberto Del Rio, you had Del Rio actually punch Heyman right in the eye, and he got a black eye, so he was wearing shades to the ring. At the end of the match, now most of the stuff that we actually should talk about, or need to talk about, or some of the good stuff actually happened near the end of matches. At one point, Curtis Axel rolls out of the ring and gets distracted by the Miz. The referee's probably up to a 8 count at this point, and he rolls back in the ring and gets a code breaker for his troubles and loses. It's the first time he's lost since being under the tutelage. What kind of a word is that? Just say being like under the management of Paul Heyman. Don't be fancy, Michael Cole. That's why people don't like you, because you try to use all these fancy words. Wrestling is not a strong vocabulary type thing. People who don't even know how to read will watch wrestling. I mean, I'd much rather watch wrestling than read any day. But Team Rhodes Scholars is then interviewed about their friendship at Money in the Bank. They're saying, can you guys keep your friendship together at Money in the Bank long enough for the ladder match to be over? And they said yes. Then they get interrupted by Zeb's guys, by Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. And then they get interrupted by Barrett, and then they get interrupted by Fandango, who actually enters just in front of all of them. And he's about to say, Fandango! And they're like, don't say it. And he's like, don't say it. And he starts getting pissed. He goes, fine, boom, and gets a bullhammer by Wade Barrett. Your next match was actually Sin Cara, who hasn't been on Raw, and sorry, this darn thing's not working. Oh, because I'm not even wearing a watch. Was Sin Cara versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, there was no Ricardo, and here's the thing. WWE or any wrestling organization is not going to tell you the real reason why someone's not there. They're not going to be like, oh, it's because he's injured. He's not injured. He is not injured. He's nowhere near an injury, okay? Here's the real thing that happened to Ricardo Rodriguez. Are you ready? I hope you guys are ready. It's the fact that he was suspended for 30 days due to a wellness issue. What wellness issue is it? Apparently they found a drug in his system. What drug is it? It's a fat-burning drug. Now, what some people actually don't know about Ricardo Rodriguez is he actually is a wrestler. And his wrestler is actually supposed to be skinny, and he wears a mask now. He got wellness. He got drug tested for fat burners, and apparently the fat burners popped up in his system, and they suspended him for 30 days. It's only his first violation. He's got 2 more, and he's out, like Jeff Hardy was. That's the whole reason why Jeff Hardy was fired anyway, was because of all the drugs he did. Orton is on his second, so Orton is basically on a thin leash right now. Because if you notice, Orton hasn't won any titles since coming back. And after the second one and after he made 12 rounds is when he came back. When he was suspended, he basically made 12 rounds. Part 2. Now, that is where Ricardo Rodriguez is. They're saying it's an injury, but what kind of injury do you come back from within 30 days? That's all this is a wellness issue. So that's the real thing about Ricardo Rodriguez. If they get busted for drugs and all that, they won't tell you. If they get arrested like Jack Swagger, they won't tell you. They'll be like, oh, he's just injured. They always say they're injured, Most of the time they are, or most of the time they're not. Sometimes they are, and some of these are actually legitimate, like Dolph Ziggler's, like CM Punk's, like let me think of one from years ago, like Triple H's when he tore his quads. Those were real legitimate ones. This whole, oh, Ricardo Rodriguez is injured due to the fact that he was barely thrown through a table, is not what it is. It's the fact that he got busted for having fat burning drugs in his system when they did a wellness test. Because I guess they do them like maybe once a month or something like that, and he happened to get caught at the time that he took it, and that's where he is. People tweeted about it and said that's ridiculous. The fact that he's just trying to, the fact that he got busted for it, but rules are rules, Ricardo, and you broke the rules, so you gotta pay the price, and he's paying the price. So, no injury for Ricardo, it's only suspension. Dolph Ziggler actually comes out during this match, and he has a mic, and he does his own version of Del Rio's entrance for Alberto Del Rio, and Alberto Del Rio actually leaves the ring and they start beating up on each other. This match actually wound up being a draw. It seems like that the referees tonight would not disqualify anyone. Okay, they wouldn't disqualify Dolph Ziggler. They wouldn't disqualify Sin Cara. They would. I mean, technically Sin Cara should have won this match due to Del Rio should have won this match due to a disqualification because Dolph Ziggler attacked Del Rio basically, but I don't know. But this match ended up in a draw. There was no clear winner. Next was the moment that most of us were waiting for. Stephanie announced it last week. It's Vickie Guerrero's job evaluation. For the first time I've ever seen in recent years, probably ever, both Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H all come out at one time with one person's intro. Now, I was kind of hoping that they would do at least Vince McMahon by himself and Stephanie and Triple H together like they did back in like old school WWE, back in like the Attitude Era. Get your hopes up, and sometimes it doesn't happen. Kind of like you get your hopes up on who's going to win the Royal Rumble, or Money in the Bank, or WrestleMania, and it doesn't happen. But that's the way life is. My question is, Vince McMahon was wearing, like, I guess a puke green jacket. This thing was so ugly. It was like the color, I don't even like the color of my walls. I didn't even pick this color out. I would much rather have a blue color, but it's like the color of my walls is the color of this jacket he was wearing. Okay? This was actually painted on a day I was at my buddy's house. My parents decided to paint it and not even ask me what color I wanted. My brother got a color he wanted. My sister got a color she wanted. Me, I got this. This is the same color as the bathroom. So when they say go to the green room and that's your bathroom, people actually think that this is the bathroom sometimes. So that's how screwed I get. At one point, Vickie, how they were doing this job evaluation thing was kind of like how TNA does their gut check. And at one point, Vickie Guerrero was sucking up to everyone. Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, the WWE Universe, since basically our fate, since her fate was basically in our hands. And Vickie claims that she's the reason that Undertaker was at WrestleMania. She claims that she's the reason that Rob Van Dam is going to be at Money in the Bank. She claims that she's the reason that Brock Lesnar is back. And Stephanie says, you know what, you're right. You are the reason that Brock Lesnar's back, and you're also the reason why he attacked my father and attacked my husband, Triple H. Now, what are you going to you have to own up to your mistakes. What are you going to do about it? And Vince McMahon actually jumps in and says, you know what? I actually forgive you about what Brock Lesnar did to me. These other two, I don't know. I like what they're doing, but here's the thing about this. If you guys don't like it, we're going to have to bear with it for a while, because this whole Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H thing has been already planned out, not to SummerSlam, not to Survivor Series, not to the Royal Rumble, but maybe even a little bit past WrestleMania. That's how long we got this. So we got more Triple H, more Stephanie McMahon, and more Vince McMahon on Raw. Maybe even bring in some Shane McMahon. Even though he did say whenever he left that he wants nothing to do with the company anymore. So, Triple H says he's terrified. That Vickie Guerrero is a terrible GM, and was supposed to promote the WWE 2K14 video game. And Triple H says that she did a crappy job on that. And he also says we want and deserve better than Vickie Guerrero. And she has the most annoying voice in TV history or anywhere in the entire world. And then Vince actually interrupts and says that he admires Vickie and thinks Vickie should be the permanent GM. Now these two went back and forth with this. Triple H suggests to have Stephanie McMahon make this decision, and they both try to persuade her. Vince McMahon says that she is Daddy's little girl. She's the reason why he's the reason why she's a billionaire. He's the reason why she even has this part of the company. And Triple H says, "You're my wife. You're the mother of my 3 kids, 3 daughters, by the way. Those girls. You have to come home with me and deal with me in the car ride all the way home." So, Stephanie made the right choice. She sided actually with Triple H, and she says, "Here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to make the vote. Vince isn't going to make the vote, and Triple H isn't going to make the vote. Based on what the WWE app said, which I did vote, based on what the WWE app said, it will be the decision. It was either pass or fail." And it was 25-75, and the 25 was pass, 75% was fail. So Stephanie says, "In the words of my father," or I got 2 words for you, and then the synonymous words of my father, Vickie, "you're fired." So Vickie got fired. She basically had a mental breakdown, and she begs to be the GM again. She is pleading. She even crawls on the table to beg to be GM again. And Triple H and Stephanie are like, let's get out of here. And they kind of just hurry out of the ring. Vince McMahon is in no rush. Vince McMahon is actually getting pissed at the fact that Vickie Guerrero was just fired from GM, because he actually likes her. He liked her as GM. And Vince says all the WWE universe failed. Like I said, he's doing this as a heel. This is how they want Vince to be. Apparently, Vince is a very good heel, which I agree. Vince is a really good heel character. Who better than to have the boss of the entire company, the creator of the entire company, to be a heel? That's probably one of the best heels you can ever have in the wrestling organization. And then here's what he says. Here's the bombshell. He says, "You people made the biggest mistake of your life," one of them, and he basically makes Brad Maddox the new GM of Raw, and Brad Maddox was stunned. He had no idea what to do. So Vince actually helps Vickie to the back. After they come back from break, Vince McMahon is comforting Vickie Guerrero, and Brad Maddox walks up and says, "Vince, I just want to thank you for giving me the GM spot." And he gets attacked by Vickie. He gets slapped, mauled, and apparently she messed up Vince McMahon's jacket, and he was not happy. So that jacket was ugly anyway. Here's what he was wearing. He was wearing like this color green jacket with a teal blue striped tie. Who wears that? And then you had Kane versus Christian. This match was short. This match was okay, but the most important part of this match is what happened at the at the end of the match. After the match was over, which Kane won this match, by the way. After the match, they're here. The Wyatt family comes and makes their debut in WWE. Who is the Wyatt family? You got Bray Wyatt, you've got some guy named Eric Rowan, and you got a guy named Luke Harper. Bray Wyatt is the leader, Eric Rowan is the guy with the black hair, and Luke Harper is the guy who's bald with the red beard. Now, none of these guys have been in the WWE before, except for one of them. One of them was already in NXT back when NXT was a competition thing, and I've already told you guys this, but I'm just refreshing your memory if you guys forgot, or if you're new to my channel, welcome. Bray Wyatt used to be in WWE. He used to be part of a group. He used to be in NXT. I almost dropped it there. He was in Nexus. He was Husky Harris. After they attacked who they decided to attack in this match, the crowd actually started chanting Husky Harris, Husky Harris, and that's who Bray Wyatt is Husky Harris, just a different name. I think that they actually took his real name or something like that, but I don't know. Who is their target? Their target is Kane. So that basically eliminates Kane for my pick of the all-star match of the WWE title match, the WWE Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, what happened to Kane was they attacked him. They basically threw him out of the ring. They wailed on him. They took the steps, and they basically, you could say they crushed his head or smashed his head with the steps. But it was pretty bad. And apparently, we don't know yet. I'm not gonna say apparently. We don't know yet if Kane is going to be out of the Money in the Bank ladder match due to the fact of this attack. But if he is, I didn't have him winning it anyway. He has won one. He won the 2010 Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship match. Back when Big Show debuted, the biggest ladder known, or the biggest, strongest ladder known to mankind. And he cashed out on Rey Mysterio to win this World Heavyweight Champion. That went on to him facing his brother in a crappy Hell in a Cell match with Paul Bearer in it. And it just went on from there. That title reign of Kane's was not his best title reign. That was his last title reign, and it was not his best at all. But yes, the Wyatt family made their debut. They attacked Kane, so that eliminates Kane for me to win the Money in the Bank. Vickie is then seen carrying her box like you would if you had all your stuff, like your stapler, your mouse, and all this in a box, like if you were fired from one of those sit-down jobs on your fancy little computer and all that. She's carrying her box, and who appears? Ryback. Ryback appears and says, "You deserve better than this. It will be okay." Gives her box back, and he walks off. Then you had your Divas match of the night, which is actually a Divas tag team match. It was AJ and Alicia Fox with Vickie Langston versus Caitlyn and Layla, with the Bella Twins on commentary promoting Total Divas since they're the face of Total Divas. Now, here's something for you. If you guys don't have the E Network, like me, I don't have the E Network, so there's really no way for me to watch this if you guys are going to watch it. Like I said last week, I have heard of some people who said that they are going to watch this, but me, I might, just because it looks like it might be tying in with like SummerSlam wrestling in general. It's going to air. The first day it airs is Sunday, July 28th. Okay, and that's before SummerSlam. That's after Money in the Bank. That's actually the end of basically July. It's going to actually air on USA immediately after Raw. If you missed Sunday's E Network one, you can catch it every Monday after Raw. So there's another way to watch it, because if you guys have USA Network, or if you guys can watch Raw, then you guys can watch Total Divas now on Mondays and not Sundays. I'm sure that they'll just play the episode that they played the day before, so, which is good. But Caitlyn in this match basically let her emotions get to her. She's been emotional ever since losing the Divas Championship, ever since AJ won the Divas title at Payback, and how this match ended was AJ was actually speared outside of the ring by Caitlyn. This match ended up in a draw. There was no official winner. Punk is then interviewed about Money in the Bank and about his match against Orton. There was nothing to this interview. Punk just said, "I might have lost at WrestleMania 27, but I will show Orton tonight why I am the best in the world. I held the title for 434 days, longer than anyone in the modern era. Does that make me the best? Yes, it does. That's why I say I am the best in the world." So that's basically toned down of what he said. And then you had your Randy Orton versus CM Punk match. Punk won this by GTS, and after the match is where the important part happened, because really nothing happened during any of the matches, except for the tag team match, not the Divas tag team match, the Shield tag team match. Let's see here, and probably the Sin Cara Alberto Del Rio match, and probably the Daniel Bryan Sheamus match. But really, Daniel Bryan Sheamus match was really nothing. But Daniel Bryan's doing a fantastic job, like I've said before. After the match, Bryan actually attacks CM Punk, leaves the ring, grabs the ladder, and attacks Orton with the ladder, climbs up the ladder, and grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase and holds it like he just won it. I'm actually getting really excited about Money in the Bank. I'm thinking I'm going to do it right after this episode, so tune into that, and I will see you guys for Money in the Bank prediction. Thank you. I am Austin. I am the world heavyweight champion. I am the YouTube champion. I might get a sticker the YouTube sticker, put it on here. So I brought you guys a 40-minute video because I love you guys, and a shout out to my new subscriber. I actually know the guy in person. Who better to have than family? My brother. So you guys can go check out his stuff. If you need computer stuff done, you guys can ask him. Car stuff done, ask him. But like I said, thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the Raw review. I will see you guys for Money in the Bank prediction night, maybe Vlog Weekly, and possibly even SmackDown. Thank you.